All right, folks, we're going to ask ChatGPT some questions about my motorcycle, and we're going to try to figure out how useful this can be. So the first question is a very general question. Why is the Panigale V4S, come on, fingers, considered to be the best sport bike in the market today? All right, so it's generating the response. Firstly, it's got a powerful and smooth engine, 214 horsepower and 91 foot-pounds of torque. So that's very cool. It's known for its handling and stability. Absolutely, yes. Features advanced electronics, cannot argue with that. Finally, it's stunning visually, sleek and aggressive. The combination of performance, handling, appearance has earned it a reputation as one of the best sport bikes in the market today. Very cool. Very, very cool response. Would give it a 10 out of 10. What would be the ideal answer? This is pretty close to the ideal answer. In the future, I would also mention that the Ducati won the 2022 MotoGP and the WSBK championships. Other than that, fantastic. All right, so that was a general question. I'm going to ask it something more specific. Now, one of the things I keep searching for is the torque value for the rear axle nut and the front axle nut. Especially if you've got multiple bikes, I find it difficult to keep track of the torque values. So let's do something very specific then. Ask it a very specific question. What is the torque specification for the rear axle nut for a Panigale V4S? I know the answer is 230 Newton meters. Let's see what it comes up with. 170 Newton meters. So that is incorrect, but it came out with the answer very confidently. Let's probe that a little further. What about the front axle nut? Now it's obviously front axle nut for the Panigale V4S, but I think it would understand that this is the same conversation that's continuing. So I don't have to repeat Panigale V4S here, I believe. Well, it obviously understood that it is the same conversation, but once again, the answer is completely wrong. Well, it's wrong. It says 65 Newton meters. I think it is 63 Newton meters. So it was close, but it's not accurate. Let's probe that a little bit more. What about the brake caliper bolts torque specification? I think it's 45 Newton meters should be the correct answer. Let's see what it comes up with. It's thinking, analyzing. Brake caliper bolts on the Ducati Panigale V4S, so good. It knows that it's continuing the same conversation. 8 Newton meters. Whoa. 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 Now it does say check the owner's manual, so that's good, but again, that is an incorrect answer. It doesn't do too well when you're asking it specific questions. Let's ask it another general question. What are your top 5 tips for riding a sport bike on the track? Top 5 tips for riding a sport bike on the track. Number 1, get proper training. Yeah, cannot argue with that. Get coaching. Wear proper gear. Cannot argue with that. Very important. Helmet, riding suit, gloves, boots, back protector. All right. Know your limits and push that a little at a time. Very accurate, very cool. Inspect your bike. That's what we have tech inspection for. That's very cool, very cool. And last but not least is practice, practice, practice. Well, this is a great response. So yeah, again, it's a general question. It does very well. Let's go back to a specific question. Who won the 2020 MotoGP championship? All right, we know the answer is Joan Mir, and it did correctly name Joan Mir as the world champion in 2020. Let's probe that a little bit more. Ask it who won in 2021. Who won it? 2021. 21 is Joan Zarco. That is not correct. And then it says it was closely contested, so it's kind of giving you a bullshit explanation and background for an incorrect answer. That's scary because it doesn't even ask you to go and check the records. It seems to be pretty sure that Joan Zarco is the 21 world champion, and that is not correct. It was won by Fabio Quartararo. Let's ask it what happened in 2022. All right, that's good. At least it's saying I don't have the answer. Let's see if it can do any prediction. Who will win it in 2023? All right. It says I cannot predict. I understand and accept that. So what are my conclusions? Well, in terms of a general response, it does very, very well. Look at the answer for why is the Panigale considered to be the best sport bike in the market today. Just gives a well-reasoned, articulate answer. So 10 out of 10 on that. But when you get into specifics, it gives you an answer but doesn't always ask you to check it, and that answer is quite often wrong. So the torque specifications, it was completely off on that. For the rear axle nut, 170 compared to 230 is quite a bit off. The front axle nut is closer, but again, you're asking it questions for which you don't know the answer. So you wouldn't know that 65 is pretty close to 63, but the fact is that it's wrong. Brake caliper bolts, it says 8 Newton meters. That's way off. Should be, what is it? Brake caliper bolts, I'll tell you what the answer is. The correct answer for the front brake caliper bolts is 45 Newton meters, so that's way off. So that's another specific answer that was way off. Again, your top tips is a very general question, top 5 tips, so it done great over there. Who won the 2020 championship? It was correct, Joan Mir. 2021, it's the Joan Zarco, and it seems pretty confident of that. So it's really mixed. When you have a general question, you can get a general answer, but if it's a specific question, this thing is not ready. Now, it's not a big deal because ChatGPT today is like what the iPhone was back in 2007 when it got introduced. So that was like version 1, and we're in version 12 or 13 on the iPhone. So this has got a long way to go, and it's going to be pretty amazing, I'm sure. All right, I'm going to sign off now. Take care, ride safe, be careful.